Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you all for coming to the annual State of the Community Luncheon. My name is Jeff Bonney. I'm the current president of the Redlands Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank our sponsors for making this event possible: Southern California Edison, the Gas Company, Redlands Community Hospital, and Kaiser Permanente. I'd also like to thank Ana Maria Maldonado for the entertainment. Let's give a hand for Ana. I'd like to introduce Chaplain John Walsh, who will offer the invocation.
In the name of all that we hold sacred, we give you thanks for our community. We are grateful for our leaders who give so much of their lives to make this a better place to live. We are grateful to those who work in this community and provide us with a quality of life that we are all blessed to enjoy. We are grateful to those who volunteer tirelessly in giving themselves to enhance the lives of so many others. For our families and friends and neighbors who share the joy of living here, we are grateful. And let us be grateful for what we have that is so special, and mindful of our responsibility as stewards of the past to those who will inherit the investment that we pass on to them from today. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. And now I'd like the color guard, Redlands Police Department and Redlands Fire Department, to present the colors.
Detail, walk, detail, ho! Right, face.
Hey, Colin Norris, would you please join me on the podium to lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Detail, present arms.
Will the audience please stay standing for the Star Spangled Banner? All right, well, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to thank our color guard. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. thank our color guard this afternoon, police officers Matt Knudsen, Mark Gonzalez, Fire Captain Terry Welsh, and Fire Engineer Bill Dye for posting the colors. Gentlemen.
Detail. Post colors. Post. Order arms. Regroup. Hey. Detail. One, there. Detail. Move. Out.
Before we proceed with the formalities, you may be seated, first of all. Thank you. I would like to call your attention to some surveys that are in front of you. The Redlands Chamber of Commerce is proud to serve as a Tier 1 ambassador for the Energy Upgrade California 2015 program. The Redlands Chamber of Commerce is the only chamber in the state of California to be awarded the grant, along with 20 other state partners. The Energy Upgrade California program offers us an opportunity to reach out into the community and the region to educate our residents and visitors about energy management and conservation. We're asking you today, and by today I mean right now, to fill out the very simple survey that is in front of you and leave the completed survey on the table. The staff will collect the surveys and add them to the data being gathered at a variety of events and presentations. Energy Upgrade California has provided access to our regional population, delivering critical education about what we can do to manage our energy use and make a difference in California. With small changes in our lives, at home and our businesses, we can all be part of a team that will keep California green. You can find rebate information, energy conservation tips, and creative ideas to save energy and money at energyupgradeca.org. That's all one word. And there's pens in front of you in those little packets, so no excuse for not filling out the surveys. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our Mayor of the City of Redlands, Paul Foster. And I might add, a former Chamber of Commerce president.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you all for joining us today for the State of the Community Address and Luncheon. I understand from the Chamber leadership that this is double the normal attendance we have for this event. I kind of feel like the guy that's presenting for the first time with a great audience, only to think that next year nobody's going to show up. So be kind to me as the day progresses, if you would. There are a few introductions I'd like to make as we begin today's program. If the folks that I'm introducing would stand up or wave their hand or something and be acknowledged, we sure would appreciate it. First is Mayor Emeritus Carol Beswick. Carol's down here. Former City Council Member Jerry Bean. Former City Council Member Mick Gallagher. Donna Farracone, a member of the Community College Board of Trustees. Thank you, Donna. A man that needs no introduction to this audience, Neil Wayner, President of the Redlands Unified School District Board of Trustees. And continuing with the members of our Redlands Unified School District Board, Patty Holohan. No, Patty, I saw her. Donna West. And Ron McPeck. And although I didn't see her, I believe Lori Rhodes, our superintendent, is here as well, or was planning on attending, but we'll applaud her anyway. Since this is a special meeting of the Redlands City Council, I have to go through the formalities of opening this as a meeting, or our city clerk and our city attorney will yell at me. So I officially now declare this special meeting of the Redlands City Council open. I'm pleased that we are beginning today's formal program with the presentation of the first annual Heroes of Redlands Awards. As a community, we are indeed truly blessed with great people doing great things. However, we don't always have enough opportunities to recognize them, their contributions, and say thank you. It's my hope that this recognition program will become an ongoing tradition for future mayors as well. Now, you have to listen to me a lot at the end of the program, so as not to bore you too much. You're going to have the pleasure of listening to a much more attractive voice than mine during these presentations. I'm pleased at this time to introduce Ms. Janice McConnell, the Assistant to the City Manager, who will be reading the citations of the awards. And if you would, as the award citations are being read, if you would hold your applause until they're concluded, we would really appreciate it. Thank you. Janice?
Thank you, Mayor Foster. It's my pleasure to announce the 2015 Redlands Beautification and Heroes Awards. Beautification Awards recognize buildings or facilities within the City of Redlands that capture outstanding landscape, architecture, cleanliness, and curb appeal. Our first award recognizes the Burridge Mansion. In 1901, the mansion was originally built as a holiday home for Albert C. Burridge and was mainly used for entertaining. Over the years, various owners have used the mansion as a private residence, a convent, and a special events rental facility. At one point in time, Redlands could have lost this beautiful gem, as commercial use and residential subdivision of the property were contemplated. In late 2007, Tim Rochford, a native Redlands resident, purchased the property not only to preserve the historic treasure, but to also dedicate it to non-commercial use that benefits children in need within our community. Subsequently, the Rochford Foundation was established for this purpose. And since that time, the Burridge Mansion has been beautifully restored, and its grounds have been made available as a sanctuary and a place of play and enrichment for our city's youth. Redlands is definitely fortunate to have Tim and the Rochford Foundation. Had it not been for Tim's intervention, our historical gem could have been lost. We are honored to present the Rochford Foundation with a Beautification Award in recognition of their adaptive reuse and restoration of the historic Burridge Mansion. Our next award recognizes the Church West Insurance Services Building. New life was breathed into a building that was originally constructed as a mortuary in the early part of the 20th century. Eventually, the YWCA purchased the building and converted the offices into boarding rooms for Redlands women. Later, the YWCA joined forces with the YMCA, calling itself the Y Alliance. In 2006, Cutler Insurance, now known as Church West Insurance Services, purchased the building to use as a new location for their Redlands office. Company owners, Tom and Julie Cutler, meticulously began the process to restore rooms and spaces in the main building while maintaining its historic architectural features. Great care was taken in the restoration, including the use of master craftsmen to capture the original grandeur of the building. The enhancements of the property can also be seen in the careful landscaping, including graceful palms strategically situated on the street sides to frame the building's design features. We sincerely appreciate the work of the Cutlers in preserving the city's heritage and a historic resource and keeping our hometown beautiful. We are honored to present Church West Insurance Services with a Beautification Award in recognition of their adaptive reuse and restoration of the YWCA building. Moving along to our next category is the Redlands Heroes Awards, and these awards recognize individuals or organizations who have performed voluntary activities that address a community need or enhance the quality of life for Redlands residents. Our first award is presented to Isabel Hoskins. Isabel, a 92-year resident of Redlands, began volunteering at the Redlands Community Center over 20 years ago. Rain or shine, she assists with the senior nutrition program, contributing thousands of hours over the years to the senior community. With great detail and with an infectious smile, Isabel sets the tables for lunch Monday through Friday and even decorates them for all to enjoy. Senior Center staff have stated that Isabel is the most dedicated and hardworking individual they have worked with and are truly blessed to have her at the center. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Isabel Hoskins as a hero of the City of Redlands. Our next award is presented to Maria Lopez. Maria is a part-time translator for the Redlands Unified School District. For more than 10 years, she has volunteered countless hours of her time from elementary school to high school as band booster, PTA board member, room mom, barbecue, and carnival organizer, seamstress, chaperone, in addition to many other duties in support of school activities. Maria has been described as always being positive, productive, reliable, and kind. As one nomination form read, she epitomizes the Redlands unsung community hero. She gives what she has to give and asks nothing in return. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Maria Lopez as a hero of the City of Redlands. Our next award is presented to Heidi Meyer. Heidi is a true advocate for our city's youth. She believes that all children need love and a good foundation upon which to build their lives. With that in mind, Heidi started the Youth Hope Foundation out of her car 7 years ago. The foundation helps to build confidence and promote self-sufficiency for homeless, runaway, and undeserved youth ages 14 to 24. In this past year, Youth Hope has served more than 1,000 children by providing food, shelter, clothing, counseling, job training, and educational assistance. With Heidi's hard work and dedication to establish the Youth Hope Foundation, the city's homeless and at-risk youth now have a support system in which to grow and become healthy, successful adults. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Heidi Meyer as a hero of the City of Redlands. Moving along to our Employee Hero Awards. These awards recognize city employees whose volunteer activities provide a benefit to the community in a substantial way. Our first award goes to Police Officer Alex Paredes. In 2008, Alex took it upon himself to develop a positive after-school self-defense program for city's youth. With his experience in martial arts, Alex developed the Street Smart curriculum aimed at kids ages 5 and up and focuses on structure, discipline, and respect. Alex has volunteered hundreds of hours over the years to bring this valuable program to the children at the Redlands Community Center every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Because of his dedication to the city's youth, Alex truly makes a difference in their lives and in the community. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Alex Paredes as a hero of the City of Redlands. Our next award is presented to Fire Engineer Don Trujillo. For many years, Don has actively participated in the annual Spark of Love Holiday Toy Drive. 3 years ago, Don assumed full coordination of the annual drive, committing countless hours each year to organize, plan, and publicize the event. Don's leadership has allowed the toy drive to continue and collect toys for thousands of Redlands children. Many of those children who would not normally have much of a holiday are now able to share within the holiday cheer. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Don Trujillo as a hero of the City of Redlands. For our last award, I will turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Janice.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Janice. How about a round of applause for Janice? We have one last award, and I asked to present this one myself. When I initially proposed the concept of the Hero of Redlands Awards, I specifically stated that elected officials would not be eligible. However, as I thought about the nominees that we had received, there was one individual that truly deserved recognition. The problem was that individual wasn't elected. So when the committee met to make the formal selections, I asked if the committee would agree to support an exception for this year, and they unanimously did in light of who the individual was. Excuse me. This awardee is well known to many of us in Redlands, but particularly for his focused and passionate support for the residents of our city that serve or have served our nation in military service. Sorry, a little emotional about this one. As a new member of the City Council and a father of a member of the Air Force, I wanted to start up the Hometown Heroes banner program that you've seen on our streets. The first person to step forward to actively embrace this idea and extend a hand of support to me was Sam Irwin. As all of you know, it was also Sam that came to me as I was serving as the chairman of the 125th Anniversary Committee and said, Paul, I think it would be great if, as part of the capstone for the anniversary celebration, we reinstated the annual Veterans Parade. And I said, sure, Sam, great idea, it's all yours. Let me know what you need. In true Irwin form, he ran with the idea. He got friends from the Noon Kiwanis to help put together our Veterans Parade, not only for the anniversary year, but for 2014 and continuing, they're working on it now for 2015. Most recently, Sam led the Service Day project to restore the Veterans Circle at Hillside Memorial Park, restoring it to the place of honor and dignity that it was always intended to be. Sam has often commented that we owe a debt to our veterans that can never be repaid. He's correct. But he is working hard to see that as a community, we never forget the dedication and sacrifice of these men and women. It is for that reason that today we proudly honor Sam Irwin as a hero of the City of Redlands. Sam's very humble, but he certainly deserves that award. He looked out at the audience and said, oh, there's more people here than I thought. I'd also like to extend the thanks of the community to the offices of Senator Mike Morrell, Assemblyman Mark Steinnorth, and Supervisor James Ramos, and Congressman Pete Aguilar, who all have provided certificates of recognition for our awardees today. I would also like to thank the selection committee that met, went through all the nominations, and narrowed it down to those that we honored this afternoon. And finally, I'd like to ask that we give another round of applause to all of the awardees of this year. With that, we're going to get right into the regular program. Continue eating your lunch, and we hope that you'll enjoy what we have to offer you today. Thank you.
Whether you are driving, cycling, or walking around Redlands these days, you can't help but notice there's something big happening to the city's streets, and it's a big change for the better. Redlands' transportation infrastructure, from residential streets to major arterials, is undergoing significant renovation, taking the city's roads from among the worst in the state just a few years ago to among the best. In 2012, the Redlands City Council approved the Pavement Management Program and the Pavement Accelerated Repair Implementation Strategy, or PARIS. Taken together, they form a comprehensive infrastructure approach to address the city's surface street rehabilitation, repair, and maintenance needs. When fully implemented, the program will result in rehabilitation and repair of 2/3 of the city's 400 lane miles of road over a 5-year period. In March of this year, contractors began work resurfacing approximately 90 lane miles of streets throughout the city. The work covers all segments of Redlands, north, south, east, and west. At the completion of this 6-month phase of the project, the city will have completed nearly 200 miles of lane resurfacing, representing nearly half of the entire project. The Paris Road Rehabilitation Program is a multi-department cooperative effort between the city's municipal utilities and engineering department and the Quality of Life department under the leadership of the city manager and city council. Along with improvements for drivers, the city has added 36 miles of dedicated bicycle lanes and sharrows, has begun implementing the bicycle master plan, installed more than 1.5 miles of infill sidewalk, and added approximately 426 ADA ramps, providing added mobility for all of our residents. Over the next year, an approximately 3.4 miles of sidewalk will be repaired throughout the city. In addition to Paris, in 2014, the city began work on one of the biggest and most pressing public works projects in some time, the rehabilitation and realignment of the Redlands Boulevard, Alabama Street, Colton Avenue intersection. Redlands and Alabama is the city's busiest intersection, with more than 26,000 vehicles traveling through daily. The approximately $4 million construction project realigns the intersection of Redlands Boulevard and Alabama Street to eliminate a 22-foot offset as Alabama Street crosses Redlands Boulevard and widens both streets, adding a third northbound lane and additional left turn lanes in each direction on Alabama Street. The project will also realign an unorthodox and difficult merger of Colton Avenue and Redlands Boulevard, creating a signalized T intersection just east of the Redlands Boulevard, Alabama Street intersection. Funding for the project comes from a $1 million Proposition 1B grant, developer fees, local transportation funds, and revenues from Measure I, a half-cent sales tax, approved by San Bernardino County voters to improve local transportation. No general fund money is being spent on the project. Each of these projects has been coordinated with improvements to the city's water, wastewater, and storm drain systems, replacing and improving miles of pipeline, as well as adding new energy-efficient street lighting so that the infrastructure underground, as well as above ground, will serve residents, businesses, and visitors for years into the future.
I think it's wonderful, and it's just giving more to Redlands, our city.
Thank you. It's nice to have the applause beforehand. That's great. Good afternoon. I'm John James. As portrayed in the video, infrastructure can take on many forms, some probably more obvious than others, but all are important to our life in Redlands. One of the transportation forms of infrastructure that we have is the Redlands Airport. From my perspective of being involved in the aviation industry for over 40 years, the Redlands Airport represents a unique asset to the City of Redlands. It is situated on the most northeast corner of the city, with the Santa Ana River Wash on its northern boundary. I have believed for many years that the importance of the airport to the city can be summarized by 5 E's. In no particular order of importance, the first is entertainment, recreation. Clearly, aircraft owners, operators enjoy the airport for the entertainment value it presents to them. Additionally, even non-pilots, the families come out with their kids and enjoy the airport. Second feature of importance is education. The airport offers unique opportunities for all to learn about the aviation industry at large. Our local high schools and colleges have classes in aviation maintenance and other aviation-oriented classes. They use the airport as field studies to actually enhance those studies. Third feature of importance to the city is environmental. Redlands Airport is assigned its own airspace by the FAA for safety and operations. What that does, with the close proximity of the Old Norton Air Force Base and now San Bernardino International Airport, it keeps all the heavy aircraft going to the far east or to the west of our city and not over the immediate center of the city. The fourth feature of importance is emergency. As we stand here today, there is a large contingent of water-dropping helicopters staged at the Redlands Airport supporting the lake fire effort. In addition, should we have a catastrophic event like an earthquake or something of that nature, the airport may be the only place that we can actually get medical supplies and personnel into our city. Final feature of importance is economics. The airport has a myriad of economic factors associated with it. Clearly, it is an economic activity asset. The various businesses at the airport provide lots of economic advantages to the city and other businesses, including jobs. We have a large contingent of pilot training at the airport, where we actually bring in people from overseas, Japan may mean the one, to bring in money to the local economy and to our money base. Additionally, the airport can be an attraction to businesses located just off the airport property, and Hangar 24 is clearly an example of this. As we look forward to the future development of the airport, it can occur in all 5 of those summarized areas that I mentioned. Chamber of Commerce has identified the need for a shuttle service from the airport to hotels, shopping, and dining. Future development located either at the airport proper or in the immediate vicinities could include restaurants, other retail establishments, professional and administrative businesses. Clearly, the airport and surrounding land uses also offer unique development opportunities. To aid in the identification of the most advantageous use of the airport, the current city, or the new city budget, the FY 15-16 budget, has a funding line item to fund the hiring of an airport consultant, professional airport person, much like we did with the cemetery, to identify the advantages, opportunities, challenges of the airport, present those back to the council in the form of a business plan, operations plan, and financial plan, so that we can move forward with the airport in the future so that it can actually be the real asset that it can be. In closing, the airport and all of its amenities, current and future, do represent an important part of the overall infrastructure in Redlands and our quality of life. Thank you.
– 2014 was a banner year for economic development activity in the City of Redlands. Many exciting business activities and accomplishments paved the way for increased business investment, new jobs for residents, and a stronger local economy. New retail centers include Redlands Village, anchored by a new 44,000 square foot state-of-the-art Stater Brothers supermarket and a number of retail, restaurant, and specialty stores. And the 468,000 square foot Mountain Grove Regional Shopping Center with Nordstrom Rack, Banana Republic, Gap, Hobby Lobby, Home Goods, Harkins Theaters, and others. Other notable additions to the 2014 retail landscape include Crepes of Wrath, Darby's American Cantina, Juice It Up, and Pieology. More than 300 new business licenses were issued in 2014. Taxable sales were up, and Redlands was identified as one of the most desirable Inland Empire retail markets at the 2014 ICSC Western Division Retail Conference. Redlands' manufacturing and distribution sector currently represents one of the hottest industrial markets in the Inland Empire. Companies locating to the city over the past year have created hundreds of new jobs for local residents. Redlands has more than 200 manufacturing and distribution facilities with nearly 20 million square feet of industrial space. including the new 700,000 square foot Amazon Fulfillment Center, Burlington Coat Factory's 800,000 square foot distribution facility, and the addition of Innotrac's distribution operation for European fashion retailer Zara. The City of Redlands not only focused on business attraction activities, but on retention and expansion strategies to help existing businesses to be more successful too. These efforts included many new and enhanced programs and services, such as business workshops, a new business visitation program, energy-efficient financing programs, business communications, and other resources. Beautification efforts in the city's historic downtown include new decorative and distinctive planters, bicycle racks and other amenities, energy-efficient lighting, and enhanced maintenance. Improvements to key underpasses with new paint and artwork highlighting Redlands' history add panache to the city's gateways. Events such as Market Night, the Saturday Farmers Market, Surf in State Street, Movies in the Park, and others also bring more visitors to the city's historic downtown, where they discover how much Redlands has to offer.
Good afternoon. Thanks for everybody coming. My name is Paul Barrich, and I'm going to talk about tourism. It's funny because I get people saying, tourism, why would anybody want to come to Redlands? Well, I'll tell you, why wouldn't you want to come to Redlands just after what you've just seen? This is a great city. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but tourism is very, very important. Marketing tourism is a component of the city's economic development action that was adopted by the City Council on May 6, 2014. So as usual, I get to inherit these good things that preceded, the council preceded myself. As part of the city's focus on tourism, the city staff has organized and are working with a group of local businesses as part of the tourism group to promote tourism in Redlands. This is one example of that. Also, with the help of the Chamber of Commerce and our business city staff, we're very, very positive that not only would you want to come to Redlands, you'd want to stay here. And we have a lot of people that want to come and move back. And quite honestly, I would not even work, because I'm a businessman, I would not even work if I didn't think this was going to be something that's going to be advantageous to Redlands. Again, keeping it short, the staff has about 24 organizations that are represented. They've had 3 or 4 meetings, which unfortunately I've not been able to attend because it just started, but we're going to really start cranking things up. Again, the group represents a cross-section, a variety of local businesses and interest promotions. Again, why wouldn't you want to come to Redlands and stay here? We have some beautiful, our architecture, as you well seen. I mean, this Redlands has been sold for me with the presentation you had before me. So what I say is shop Redlands, come here and have a good time. Thank you.
From its incorporation in the late 19th century, Redlands has always enjoyed the highest level of public safety service. The Redlands Police Department, established in 1888, and the Redlands Fire Department the following year, each set a standard of professional service, creating safe, sustainable neighborhoods and preserving the past while protecting the future. Through several years of economic downturn, each department saw budget cuts, leading to reductions in personnel and a reliance on aging equipment. Both departments made adjustments, leveraging new technology, volunteers, community partnerships, and other changes to continue to provide and even enhance their service to residents and businesses. Over the past year, sound fiscal management, improvements to the economy, and community support have allowed the City Council to provide funding for new equipment to replace aging fleets. Police vehicles are more than a means of transportation. They are a lifeline for the community and its police force. In addition to sirens and emergency lighting, patrol vehicles are outfitted with computers, GPS systems, and video systems. These vehicles must be maintained for top performance in any emergency situation. After 5 years of continuous service, or 100,000 miles, police vehicles need to be replaced or reassigned to other non-emergency functions. Since the summer of 2013, 25 new police cruisers, most of them Ford Explorers, were added to the fleet to replace aging Crown Victorias. In the coming year, another 5 Explorers will be hitting the streets. In December 2014, the Redlands Fire Department took delivery of 2 new Type 1 fire engines, replacing engines that were 25 to 30 years old. The new equipment is re-engineered to provide greater efficiency and safety, with new electronic systems and enhanced accessibility to critical pump and engine components to make maintenance quicker and more efficient, as well as green technology to reduce emissions and save fuel. Improved safety features include video cameras that monitor the driver and the road ahead, emergency and scene lighting to improve safety while responding to emergencies, and state-of-the-art stability control and braking systems, as well as large compartment space that can be scaled for the ever-evolving equipment and mission of the fire department. It takes more than equipment to provide quality service to the community. Both the Redlands Fire Department and Redlands Police Department recently committed to provide their personnel new wellness programs, providing fitness training and goals, as well as lifestyle and nutrition education to ensure all of the city's emergency responders are physically fit and mentally alert to meet the public safety challenges of the community. Activities include organized fitness events, health education classes, health screening, and regular fitness tests. The fire department has used federal grant funding to develop their first wellness and fitness initiative, while the police department has developed a voluntary program in which officers receive incentives to participate on their own time. Both programs promote wellness, improve productivity and department morale, decrease injuries, absenteeism, and workers' compensation costs, and help ensure the city's firefighters and police officers can protect the community and go home safely at the end of their shifts.
I know that's for the video because I haven't said anything yet. It's wonderful, though, being on this council and all the work that we've done in the last few years, and I'm very proud to say we've got one of the best fire and police departments in the county. I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am. And I'm particularly proud because they've adopted the Healthy Redlands concept, and Amy Martin has been pushing that, our HR person, who basically accepted that goal and has worked very hard to make sure that we have healthy people that'll save us cost in workers' comp, and not that we don't want to have our workers' comp, but the rates are based on actual accidents. And so there's been a huge improvement in that, and thanks again to Amy Martin and the police department and fire department for picking that up. We're working on the general employees now. In 2013, this is a new area that the city worked into, and it's at the recommendation of city manager, the city created the position of emergency operations manager. Faye Glass has served in that position since that time. Since that time, I'm going to go through her accomplishments, and there's a lot of them, so I do apologize, I need to read this. Since the time, the city has received approximately $2 million in grants for emergency training and supplies and recovery funds following local emergencies. Faye and other city staff have worked very carefully to get an eye on grant possibilities and have taken advantage of them successfully over that 2-year period. Since 2013, the city has provided ongoing training to Emergency Operations Center responders. Those include personnel from every department in the city, each of the departments with a specific duty for immediate public safety needs, ensuring the continued safe operation of necessary city functions, provide for the health and safety of residents in the days, weeks, and months following events. Following major emergency events, we do need that service. So I had the opportunity of being sent by the fire department to obtain access meetings after the Northridge event that happened years and years ago. One of the major problems they had was trying to get people coordinated to help themselves. And part of the function of this department is to teach people to basically help themselves in emergencies and help one another. The city also provided its own safety procedures for evacuation of city facilities during an emergency, implementing floor wardens for each facility to assist in safe evacuations of employees and members of the public. You've seen that in some of the buildings around town. I was in Redlands Federal, or City Bank, or whatever you want to call it. I still call it Red Fed. We used to have fire drills, and the fire department would come in, and there was a monitor for every floor, and they'd have to go through and make sure that everybody had vacated and then was safely out. And you had to vacate or you were in trouble. So it does work, and you want to have those practices, and they've actually coordinated that through Faye's department. They've also enhanced the Emergency Operations Center organization and replacing computers and furniture to make it more functional as an EOC, providing logistical supplies for each department and mirroring the Federal National Incident Management System model. A lot of words for a very important project. The city had provided 7 community emergency operations team training, preparing approximately 200 people to assist the city and their neighbors as first responders in the event of disaster. The 3-day training sessions are held periodically throughout the city, and everyone is encouraged to sign up. We want someone from every neighborhood to basically attend some of these training centers. And I attended a couple of them. I couldn't stay for the 3-day period, but they are very worthwhile and need to be attended. And Faye does a great job. I mean, she's very interesting to cover these training sessions and can really give you good advice. Part of the CERT response includes a dedicated CERT trailer with equipment that assists in the training and also is ready to be deployed to affected areas for use by the CERT teams in that area. And in addition, another mass care and shelter trailer assists with shelter needs in the event of emergency. It can accommodate another 200 people with cots, blankets, and first aid kits. 2 point of dispensing trailers are also strategically located, one for the public and one for emergency operations that are actually out in the field and may need to have care right away. They provide a point from which to dispense mass inoculations or medication in the event of a pandemic. They include medical supplies, cots, chairs, and canopies, and also we revived our disaster council. And that's a council that meets quarterly to bring community stakeholders together, including police, fire, schools, medical providers, and others to discuss emergency preparedness. And I can tell you those are very well attended. In addition, finally, the city management implemented an emergency notification system commonly referred to as Reverse 911, which allows us to quickly notify the entire community or designated areas of the concerns or threats that are in their neighborhood. Any landline in the city is automatically included through Verizon or whoever the provider is through the emergency notification database. Residents and businesses are also encouraged to register their cell phones and voice over IP numbers to be added to this whole system in the event of an emergency. If they've got your landline and your business is gone, how are they going to get a hold of you without having the additional contact numbers? And you need to provide those to Faye Glass, who will actually put them in her system so you have those follow-up events. All this is trying to make sure our neighbors and our friends are safe in the event of an emergency. Is Faye Glass here today? Faye, come up here. Come on. This is a young lady who's taken over management of that department, and she's a staff of one. I just want them to see you and introduce you. She's an example of what can be done, and let me tell you, when she's in charge, she's in charge. Thank you very much.
Those of us who live and work in Redlands have always known there's something special about our town. Others have noticed too. In 2014, the City of Redlands was named one of the 10 best towns in California for young families by the online consumer advocacy website NerdWallet. Redlands' excellent school system, affordable housing, growing salaries, demographics, and economic growth made our city one of the best places for families to settle down. With family-friendly activities including Market Night, the Redlands Bowl Summer Music Festival, the annual Run Through Redlands, and Bicycle Classic, youth sports, theatrical performances, parks, open space, trails for hiking, biking, and horseback riding, as well as resources such as the A.K. Smiley Public Library, Lincoln Memorial Shrine, the University of Redlands, and more than 200 acres of parks, we can only agree. The city's approximately 500 employees are dedicated to providing residents and the business community with the highest level of service possible. That's why surveys in 2010 and 2014 showed more than 80% of our residents were satisfied or very satisfied with city services. Redlands was built on the philanthropic efforts of our ancestors, and every year thousands of residents donate their time, resources, and skills to continue that tradition of philanthropy and make our town an even better place to live, work, and play.
The state of our city is strong
because all of us,
Residents, business, city staff,
remain faithful stewards of our past
and wise investors in our future.
quality of life is the third most important consideration for businesses seeking to locate or expand, exceeded in importance only by access to domestic markets and skilled workforce. Among the factors that contribute to the quality of life are public safety, quality of schools, job opportunities, and community assets like parks, trails, and open space. Parks, trails, and open space also contribute to business growth because they attract a young workforce, provide nearby recreational opportunities, and they contribute to attracting and retaining retirees who often choose to use some of their disposable income to take full advantage of these amenities. Equally important, parks, trails, and open space amenities contribute to the economic growth and vitality of our city through local tourism and through enhancing the value of nearby properties by as much as 10% or more. Of course, parks, open space, trails, citrus groves, and other amenities contribute to the beauty of our city. That is why they are so beneficial economically as well. Over the past few years, Redlands has taken great strides towards enhancing these community amenities. Several of these efforts are continuing and more are planned. Among these efforts are establishing the 10-acre Heritage Park under the leadership of Mayor Foster. We now have 17 parks totaling approximately 216 acres. We have completed several open space acquisitions. We now have nearly 500 acres of a natural open space in San Mateo and Live Oak Canyons under city ownership. These are tremendous amenities for passive recreation. Nearby, there are 3,600 acres of open space in the Crafton Hills and 3,200 acres in the Santa Ana River Wash. Besides the beauty these locations provide, these two areas also contribute to our economy through citrus, local agriculture, and sand and gravel mining. The Orange Blossom Trail is under construction. This 8-mile trail will be over 50% complete by 2016. The Santa Ana River Trail is about to begin construction in Redlands. Under the direction of the San Bernardino County Regional Parks, this 9-mile trail will reach California Street in the first part of 2016 and be extended to reach Orange Street in 2017. By 2018, a continuous trail of over 60 miles will extend from Redlands to Huntington Beach. Planning is underway for the Zanha Trail and Greenway. This 4.5-mile trail and greenway will be developed by 2019 for the bicentennial of the Zanha. It is a joint project of the Redlands Conservancy and the city. Finally, in conjunction with the Paris street paving program, the city is striping bike lanes throughout the city. 36 miles have been completed to date and 200 miles are planned by 2020. Going forward, it will be important to keep in mind the essential role parks, open space, and trails play in our quality of life and in turn in our community's prosperity. Thanks a lot.
So back to me, I don't get the nice video introduction. Only my colleagues did. Now, this is where I give the mayor's formal address, but I want to draw your attention to that stuff what's on your table. You have lots of goodies that the sponsors left for you. They're for your entertainment pleasure while I'm speaking if you get bored. Good afternoon again, and welcome, and thank you for being here today as we celebrate our accomplishments as stewards of the past and look forward to our challenges and opportunities as investors in our future. Whether you were born here, maybe you're a second or third generation Redlander, or like me, you were born elsewhere but came to Redlands as quickly as you could. For most of us, Redlands is indeed our hometown. It's an honor for me to serve as your mayor and to be here today to present the State of the City Address for 2015. I would like to begin my remarks with a few thank yous. We just viewed a special video presentation highlighting just a small portion of the good work occurring in our community. I'd like to thank the city's media coordinator, Cheryl Williams, and Public Information Officer, Carl Baker, for putting together such a terrific presentation. And just for the record, when I was here in the morning and they ran through it, there was not a hiccup at all in it. So, special thanks also to Janice McConnell, the assistant to the city manager, for all of her hard work putting today's program together. Thank you, Janice. My thanks on behalf of the city to the University of Redlands and the Redlands Chamber of Commerce for hosting and organizing today's event, particularly to Kathy Thurston and Jan Nolan from the Chamber. They're over there. I want to extend the appreciation of our entire community to all of the volunteer city commissioners, many of whom are present with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, without you and the positive work that our community is doing would not happen at all. So thanks to all of you as well. The same can be said for all of our dedicated community volunteers, and we thank them also. Two very special individuals whom we count on so much, City Clerk Sam Irwin and our City Treasurer Robert Dawes. And I don't know if Robert's here, I didn't see him. You guys, thank you so much. You couldn't be the team we are without the two of you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Finally, I wish to thank personally my colleagues. I have had and have now the pleasure of serving with just some terrific individuals. Mayor Pro Tem John Harrison, Pat Gelbreth, Paul Barrich, and John James. I cannot tell all of you the hours and efforts and the interest that they put into making our city a better place. We are all fortunate to have people like them serving us. Thank them as well. As stewards of Redlands past and investors in the future, I would also like to recognize our city staff who work diligently every day to provide the services and support, keeping the best interests of our residents and businesses in the forefront of their minds. These are the people who carry out the policies of the City Council and accomplish the things you have already seen and will hear more about over the next several minutes. All of them work under the leadership of our City Manager, Enrique Martinez. I would also like to recognize, and if they would wave maybe for everybody, I'd like to recognize the remainder of the executive team, City Attorney Dan McHugh. I don't know if Dan's here. Development Services Director Oscar Orsi. You know, Oscar's there. Finance Director Tina Kundig. Fire Chief Jeff Frazier, Police Chief Mark Garcia, Interim Municipal Utilities and Engineering Director Chris Diggs, who has the longest title of any of them, Human Resources Director Amy Martin, Quality of Life Director Fred Cardenas, and Department of Innovation and Technology Director Danielle Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for what you do every day to make Redlands a better place. Today, yes, you will hear me speak about many positive accomplishments, but I will also be very candid and direct about the work that remains to be done. Redlands is a place we are proud to call home, a uniquely beautiful 126-year-old community driven to excellence by a passionate and involved citizenry. Blessed with beauty, both by its natural surroundings and by the invaluable contributions of art, architecture, culture, and the heritage of our forebears, which continues to this day. The Redlands Bowl, the Smiley Library, the Lincoln Shrine, this university, parks such as Prospect, Caroline, Sylvan, Ford, and our newest addition, Heritage, the fine old architecture lovingly restored and maintained by our residents, our diverse and embracing faith community, historic resources such as the Zaha, or the Zenki, whichever way you want to go, and the Emerald Trail, which preserves a slice of our natural beauty, a reminder of our heritage and a refuge from the urban sprawl of Southern California. We have a school district that is among the best in the state, including the state champion Redlands East Valley High School football team and the state champion Redlands High School mock trial team. And a historic downtown business community that others envy and try to emulate. There is so much we love about our hometown. I could spend the entire afternoon simply extolling its virtues. But those of us who live and work here already know why we love Redlands. But while we love our hometown, most of us recognize that it takes a good deal of work to maintain its luster. Redlands has many beautiful old homes. Some of them are as old or older than the city. I know I've had one, John's had one, and I bet out in the audience there's a lot of you that own historic homes here in Redlands. The owners of any one of these could tell you that if you neglect the small maintenance items and don't set aside resources for periodic repairs, the foundation, the roof, the paint, the plumbing, the landscaping, and 100 smaller things, your house will begin to fall apart from the inside, the outside, under, and above you. With this condition, this was the condition the city was in just a short time ago. Basic infrastructure needs, streets, sidewalks, parks, and trees, water pipes, and facilities had been neglected, some for decades. The wear and tear was showing, and the cost to repair or even maintain these was rising. At the same time, the city's budget was moving out of balance as city councils, management, and staff were spending more money than the city was taking in. We had failed to pay attention to the small maintenance items and certainly had not set aside resources to prepare for the repairs. Now they were becoming large items requiring greater resources. In 2007, the City Council, including some members still on council today, John Harrison and Pat Galbraith, as well as Pete Aguilar, Mick Gallagher, and Jerry Bean, began to address to steadily reverse that neglect, beginning with a financial management plan that balanced the city's budget and began building reserves. The choices they made were difficult ones, and they were not made without considerable soul-searching and without any small amount of criticism. But their choices were the right choices. And since that time, we have balanced the budget on reoccurring revenues in all but 1 year, built the general fund reserves from less than $2 million in 2005-06 to more than $9 million at the start of the fiscal year that begins next week. When you add that to the city's unreserved fund balance, it is nearly $17 million, more than 31% of annual expenditures. While communities in both San Bernardino and Riverside counties are drawing down on their reserves in order to balance their budgets, Redlands continues to add to our reserves. And by the way, all of this was done during one of the worst recessions our nation has seen since the Great Depression. And still also in surveys of residents conducted in 2010 and 2014, more than 80% said they were satisfied or very satisfied with city services. Revenues are also improving, with property tax revenues estimated to increase overall by $1.3 million, and sales tax revenues projected to rise by $1.6 million. Increased development revenues of more than $500,000 are also forecasted as a result of greater development activity anticipated as the economy continues to improve. As a direct result of our fiscal management, our fiscal management has been an improved credit rating and savings realized on the city's 2007 pension bonds. Over the years, we have continued to hone and fine-tune the city's finances. An enterprise fund policy addressing the city's self-sustaining enterprise funds and an interfund loan policy providing guidelines for the establishment, management, and repayment of interfund loans were approved by the City Council in late 2013. More recently, the staff has begun work on a debt management policy to help guide the decision makers in determining whether or not the city should finance projects through the issuance of debt, to provide guidance related to debt affordability, and to create policies and procedures that minimize the city's debt service and issuance costs while retaining the highest practical credit rating possible. That policy will be returning to the City Council for consideration in the near future. And the city's labor groups have been responsible, dedicated partners in ensuring the city's fiscal future, beginning with voluntary furloughs in 2007. Last year, each of our labor groups agreed to a new memorandum of understanding, an MOU, that increased employee contributions to the public employee retirement system and created a two-tier benefit program for health and retirement benefits, with existing employees providing larger contributions to health benefit costs and lower medical benefits for newer employees. These changes to the employee MOUs have made the city's personnel costs more manageable and sustainable going into the future. As a result of those changes and an improving economy, this year the city's negotiators, the city manager, city attorney, human resources director, and myself held amicable discussions with our labor partners that frankly saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in negotiator fees. Ultimately, and with very little back and forth, we were able to acknowledge the contribution that our employees have made to the city's financial stability, providing across-the-board raises of 6% over 2 years with no other changes to the employee MOUs. These well-deserved raises are the first these employees have seen in 7 years. Improving the city's finances has been a team effort, but I want to acknowledge the leadership, especially of Councilmember Pat Gelbreth, who for many years has been a champion of balanced budgets, healthy reserves, and fiscal restraint. She, along with Treasurer Dawes, will continue the leadership of overseeing the health of our city's finances. Financial stability and a healthy growing reserve provided the foundation that allowed the city to take action to address its decaying infrastructure, as you've seen in the videos. Just a few years ago, the roads in this city were among the worst in the Inland Empire. They've been described as roads that are worse than in third world countries. They were worse than the statewide average. There was no budget for road repair, and resurfacing and deterioration of the city streets far outpaced our efforts to maintain and repair them. In 2012, your City Council adopted a comprehensive 5-year plan to repair and rehabilitate 2/3 of the city's streets and fund continued maintenance for decades into the future. The current phase of the Paris program is adding 90 lane miles of resurfaced streets before the end of this calendar year, bringing the total lane miles resurfaced under the program to nearly 200, almost half the total planned under the Paris program. Currently, the repavement program is not only ahead of its 5-year schedule, but also on track to complete additional road work within its original budget. The improvements to our city streets have been the most noticeable, visible, and dramatic of the infrastructure improvements. Residents have commented frequently how much nicer our roads have become. I bet many of you have forgotten what it was like to drive on a nice street until it was repaved. And we're only halfway there, folks. While the road improvements are noticeable, there have been other substantial improvements that few of you can see because they're underground. In the past 8 years, approximately 30 miles of water pipeline has been replaced. The design of these water pipeline projects was all coordinated with the Paris program so that the newly paved streets would not have to be torn up later in order to replace aging or leaking pipes. In addition, 12 wells have been rehabilitated, 2 of them in the past year. Along with the Wardway Reservoir recoding and improvement this year, the city has gained capacity for 14 million gallons of water a day and saved roughly $5 million. There is plenty of work to do. The city has almost 11 cumulative miles of distressed sidewalks in nearly 6,000 locations. The estimated cost to repair those sidewalks is more than $2 million. Our Quality of Life Department performs triage, prioritizing and performing repairs on the worst of these areas to mitigate trip hazards and reduce the chances of injuries, but we've got to get them all fixed. During the mid-year budget review in February of 2015, the City Council approved more than $450,000 of surplus funds for sidewalk repairs. With a budget of $400,000 per year, it is estimated that necessary sidewalk repairs, other than improvements for ADA ramps, can be accomplished within 4 years. You are all acutely aware by now of the challenges we face as a state and a city to save water. The prolonged statewide drought has created a severe challenge to conserve. Over the past few years, Redlands has implemented significant water conservation measures, achieving a reduction of more than 11%. Nonetheless, with the state's mandate to the city to reduce potable water production by another 36%, we have a difficult trial ahead of us. City staff has formed a drought task force and have implemented a 4-phase plan of action that builds on previous conservation efforts, including free water audits and incentives for water-efficient appliances, irrigation, and landscaping. The new efforts include increased conservation incentives, greater public education, increased monitoring and enforcement of drought restrictions, efforts to identify and work with the top 5% of high water users to achieve significant reductions. The City Council will be revising our landscape ordinance and prohibitions on the use of gray water, water from laundry, sinks, and showers that can be used to irrigate your plants and flowers. The city has also led the way by educating our employees and reducing our own water use. City employees have completed the design and are ready to begin work on a project to re-landscape 2 of our fire stations, including the downtown station, to drought-tolerant, water-saving landscaping with new efficient irrigation systems. Excuse me. The new landscaping will not only save more of our precious resource, it will serve as an example and a model for others when they see how attractive drought-tolerant landscaping can be. Those who are interested in converting their own landscaping will find attractive alternatives and ready-made plans on the city website, along with incentives to make the change more affordable. However, while this is a good first step, if the drought continues, and I suspect it will, more draconian measures may need to be taken. And the support and commitment of all of our community leaders is going to be required. Nothing could be a more fitting memorial to our hometown's past than its beautiful and historic Hillside Cemetery. Hillside is the final resting place to some of the most prominent names in our city's history, including Redlands founders E.G. Judson and Frank Brown. Many of the names reflected on our city's prominent buildings, schools, and parks, names such as Caroline Phelps Stokes, Fred Klock, Edward M. Cope, and Isaac Ford, are found on the grounds of Hillside Memorial Park. Just as importantly, many of us have ancestors and loved ones at Hillside, and for many of us, the park will be our final resting place in Redlands. Many years in the future for all of you, I hope. The demands of stewardship require that we preserve this tranquil beauty of our Hillside Memorial Park, as well as the history represented there, our town's ongoing story. In addition to a memorial to the city's past, you may not realize that Hillside is also a business. In fact, at 129 years of age, it is the oldest continually operating business in Redlands. For the past decade, however, revenues at Hillside Memorial Park have fallen below the levels necessary to sustain its operation and maintain the grounds. The cemetery is unique in the state and has the potential to outshine any cemetery in the region. But frankly, Hillside had lost its ability to compete with more modern, privately operated businesses. In March, your City Council approved a far-reaching plan that modernizes the offerings while preserving its history and its beauty. Over the next 10 years, the cemetery will add features and offer a wider range of choices and services for a variety of interment options at competitive prices that will make Hillside a profitable enterprise. At each stage, the Council will maintain oversight of the changes occurring at the cemetery, making sure that this investment in the future also continues to honor our past. I've asked Councilmember Paul Barrett to lead in overseeing this effort, and I'm confident that under his leadership, we will see a rapid implementation of the Council's adopted actions. Another major asset that the City has neglected during the recession is our municipal airport. You heard Councilmember John James address this in his earlier comments. Under his leadership and in concert with City staff and airport users, we will embark on a review of the airport's operation similar to what was indeed commissioned for the cemetery. The outcome of this work will be to provide specific plans to address the current and future operation of the airport. You've seen many improvements that we've been making over the past year and more, not only to our roads and other infrastructure, but frankly, sprucing up the place, adding new touches to our decor and creating curb appeal. At the end of 2014, we began improving the underpasses at Orange Street, Eureka, and 6th, making the gateways to our historic downtown a bit more inviting. A new coat of paint, improving the lighting, new murals depicting our hometown's historic buildings and citrus heritage. Soon you will see improved landscaping to the Caltrans right-of-ways and the on- and off-ramps to the I-10, as well as a gateway monument welcoming visitors to our historic core. I would like to acknowledge the support and assistance of our Assemblyman, Mark Steinnorth, in our dealings with Caltrans. Mark continues to show through his actions on our behalf that he is truly a dedicated friend of the City of Redlands. These aren't just cosmetic changes. They are a strategic effort to enhance the visitor experience. Let people know what a vibrant community they're entering. They're designed to put out the welcome mat for folks coming into downtown to shop, recreate, dine, and be entertained. One project that the city is not directly involved in, yet is of keen interest to our residents, businesses, and the City Council, is the Redlands Mall. Since the mall substantially closed in 2010, with the bankruptcy and reorganization of its owner, the city has been actively involved in working with the property owners to market the mall and develop plans for its future that will benefit and revitalize the community and especially our downtown. Development Services staff worked with the mall's former owners, Howard Hughes Corporation, for more than a year to generate interest, solicit potential buyers for the mall, and last July, the property was sold to Brixton Capital, who announced plans to develop the mall into a mixed-use residential and retail project. Council leadership and Development Services staff have remained in regular contact with Brixton Capital, and we await submittal of a proposal to finally realize this key component in our downtown economic development plan. And while I would sincerely like to announce to you today that we anticipate an instant revitalization of the mall, I need to be candid and to tell you that we need to all measure our enthusiasm and expectations for this project until we see an actual proposal from the new owners. In 2012, the City Council revised its building and development impact fee structure. Over time, we received feedback from community groups, the East Valley Board of Realtors, Chamber of Commerce, as well as many builders, developers, and individuals that led us to conclude that many of the fees were set too high. As a result, we have undertaken a comprehensive review of the fees with the intent to become more in line with the greater Inland Empire communities. This is in keeping with this Council's commitment to continuing a more business-friendly, collaborative, and welcoming environment. We anticipate this revision to be completed within this fiscal year. In the coming year, we will be taking a comprehensive look at the future of our city's growth. The blueprint of any city is its general plan. Our current general plan was adopted 20 years ago, 1995. Since then, obviously, a lot of things have changed. There have been a great deal of commercial, light industrial, and warehouse development in the northwest portion of our city that can accomplish big things when we all work together towards a common goal. Today, I'm announcing challenges to our community that I hope will become an annual tradition for the State of the City event. For this inaugural event, I am calling on our community to conceive and develop a public art project that will be unveiled at this time next year. This is an opportunity to add a significant new piece of public art in our public places. Our city's Cultural Art Commission will take the lead in this effort, and they will bring forward a plan for City Council consideration. And to kick off this campaign, I'm announcing the first donations to the Art in Public Places effort. Several very generous donors were among the first to contribute to this effort, with donations from Redlands home builder Diversified Pacific, Newland Homes, Ken Munoz, MCC Construction, and Tom Bell and the Bell Family Trust. We have already raised $10,000 towards this project. And I understand that Mr. Munoz and Mr. Matt Jordan with Diversified Pacific are in the audience. Gentlemen, would you please stand so that you can be acknowledged? Now, Matt, I know you're out there. There you are. Thank you both. We really appreciate your willingness to help us get this kicked off. The second community initiative is critical to the emergency preparedness and disaster planning efforts that Councilmember Gelbreth was addressing. Our police and fire portable command vehicle has long ago outlived its usefulness. The technology will no longer meet the needs of a 21st century communication system. Therefore, our City Council has set aside $100,000 of the $200,000 needed for the new command trailer, one that will meet our community requirements in a time of need, as well as the support it provides to all major community events. Police Chief Police Garcia and Fire Chief Jeff Frazier, along with Councilmember Barrich and myself, will be working together to seek community support for the remaining $100,000. I ask that as a community we embrace both these initiatives in order to move them forward in the 2015-16 fiscal year. In conclusion, while other communities struggle to avoid or recover from bankruptcy, face costly labor disputes, or find their city halls investigated by state and federal authorities, we in Redlands continue to be, in the eyes of some, well, boring. We just keep going about the tasks before us, the tasks that you, the citizens of Redlands, elected us to do. Revive our city infrastructure, stabilize and improve our city's finances, ensure public safety, increase economic development, and expand the quality of living amenities for all our residents. Our city, our hometown, was founded, grew, and developed through engagement and involvement of our residents and our business community. We have benefited greatly from those who invested early in Redlands. Your City Council, along with other community leaders, has accepted the responsibility to be the stewards of those past investments. But Redlands is not just a place that celebrates its history. We will remain a vibrant and vital community only by following the example of our forebears. Continuing this tradition of community dedication will ensure that we are indeed the stewards of our past and the investors in our future. The state of our city, ladies and gentlemen, is strong, and I look forward to what the future brings as we walk hand in hand into that future. Thank you very much for your attendance today. May God bless each of you and our hometown now and always. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it, folks. At this point in our program, the City Council will entertain comments from the public on any item on today's agenda, if there is anyone that wishes to do so. Seeing no one running to the front, are there any additional comments from members of the City Council? Seeing none. At this time, the Council will also take input from the public on any item that is not on today's agenda. Seeing no one running to the front again, then I will officially close this special meeting of the Redlands City Council and adjourn to our regularly scheduled meeting of July 7th, 2015. President Jeff, I turn the podium back to you.
Thank you, Mayor Foster. That was an outstanding and enlightening presentation. I'd like to call your attention once again to the forms on the table. This is what a completed one looks like, for those of you who are wondering. And ask again that you fill these out before you go. We were going to lock the doors, but with the presence of the fire department, they said, no, we can't do that. Oh, okay. How long is the form for the waiver? Is it longer than no? So please fill those out before you go. And otherwise, this concludes the 2015 State of the Community Address. I would like once again to thank the Mayor, the City Council, and the guests, and our sponsors, Southern California Edison, the Gas Company, Redlands Community Hospital, and Kaiser Permanente for their help with this event. And have a good afternoon. Thank you all.